This is a fresh install of Linux Mint 21 with the Xfce Desktop environment. And we're going to be looking at the hidden desktops. I've already done this for Cinnamon and Mate desktops. So today we're on Xfce. And I'm going to go Ctrl Alt right arrow. You see that the settings dialog disappeared. So we're now on desktop 2, 3 and 4. So that was Ctrl Alt right arrow, now Ctrl Alt left arrow. So we're on 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're back. If we right click the title bar, we can see here move to another workspace. So workspace 1's greyed out because we're already here. We can't move it to here. We've got 2, 3 and 4. So let's move it to 4. And now we'll go Ctrl Alt right arrow, 2, 3, 4, and there it is. We'll just go back to workspace 1. So we've now got workspace 1 available, and we're back on workspace 1. So we'll go back with Ctrl Alt left arrow. There's not many indications that the workspaces are present. You can see workspaces there in the settings. So always on visible workspace, move to another workspace. But it's pretty much hidden. On the Xfce Desktop, if we middle click or mouse wheel down on the actual desktop, on an empty part of the desktop, we get this. So workspace 1, we can see the settings are on it, 2, 3 and 4. So if we go to workspace 2, we'll start the file manager here. And I'm just going to put that about there somewhere. We'll go to workspace 3 and put Firefox up there. Okay, there's Firefox. We'll just do a bit of a resize. As you can see, that's the first time Firefox has been run on this system. We'll put that down about here somewhere. And now we'll go to workspace 4 and let's just put the task manager up here. And I'm just going to move that down to there. And now we mouse wheel down again, we can see settings, file manager, Firefox and the task manager. So I can either click workspace 1 or on the settings, and that'll take me back to that workspace. See, we've also got some options to add a workspace. So now we've got 5, and of course we can remove workspace 5, and then we click remove, and now we're just back to the 4. Now if we hold down Ctrl Alt and hit the right arrow, so we're currently on workspace 1, 2, 3, 4. If we go again, we come back to 1. So it's just circulating around, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, back to 1. And of course we can go left arrow, so that takes us to 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the right arrow. So that's left arrow goes one way, right arrow goes the other. And if we keep going, we just circulate around in circles with Ctrl Alt left and right arrow. Let's have a look in the settings. So that's just from the menu. There's your settings there or down there. And we're going into this one called Desktop. And then we're going into menus. The window list menu, so that's it there, the mouse wheel down on the desktop. And if we deselect that, the mouse wheel does nothing out there now. Show the icons, so we can see down here we've got the icons. We deselect that, the icons are now missing. Show workspace names, so workspace 1, 2, 3 and 4. Fairly self-explanatory, so it's made it a little bit more compact. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4 from top to bottom. We can use sub-menus for windows in each workspace. So we'll just put something on the desktop here. So you can see I've got a couple of applications here. So if we mouse wheel down now, you can see I've got desktop, which is this application, or the calculator. So there's the calculator. So let's use submenus. And if we mouse wheel down now, Workspace 1, we can see we've got either desktop or calculator. So for example, I could go to Workspace 3 to Firefox, and then I can come back here so that the calculator is going to be the active application. And there it is there with the green showing that it's active. So that's submenus. We'll deselect that again. Show sticky windows only on active workspace. Now what I'll do, if we right click the title bar of the calculator, always on visible desktop, and now we'll go Ctrl Alt right arrow. You can see that it's staying there as we're cycling through all of the different desktops. So that's now a sticky window. And we can see the calculator is showing up on Workspace 1, 2, 3 and 4, even though it's actually only on desktop 1, but we're on desktop 1 now. So if I was to go to Workspace 3, desktop workspace, I just had a little learning curve myself. So we're actually on desktop 1 at the moment, and there's the calculator, there it is there. If we go to click on it here on Workspace 3, it doesn't do anything. So I'll make this active. You can see it's active because that's green highlight there on the close button, and that's not active. So let's try that again, and we'll try it with Workspace 4 calculator. So it didn't take us to desktop 4, but the calculator is now active. So if I start typing numbers in there, it's already activated. So let's now go to Workspace 3 by clicking on Workspace 3 or even Firefox, and we can see that it's going to follow us around now. So we'll go to Workspace 4, there it is, and back to Workspace 1. So that's a sticky window, it's going to follow us around, even though it's showing on all the other workspaces. As I say, clicking on it here doesn't take me to Workspace 4. I'll have to click on Workspace 4 or the Task Manager to get there. Now this option here, show sticky windows only on active workspace. So you can see it's showing there 4 times. If we select this option here now it's just showing where we are. So we can see here calculator on Workspace 1. Now if I go to Workspace 2 by clicking on the File Manager, and now we have another look, there it is there showing on Workspace 2. Same with 3. There's the calculator on Workspace 3. We'll go back to Workspace 1. Let's make this unsticky. So we'll right click the title bar, only visible on this workspace. So it's no longer sticky. It's just showing up in here as a calculator. And if we go to Workspace 4 now, it's no longer following us around. So basically what this option does here, it just stops it showing up multiple times. So again, if we make that sticky, always on visible workspace, it's now sticky. And we deselect that. There it is there, it's showing on all of them again. It took me a little while to figure out exactly how that all works. So I hope I've explained it satisfactorily there. Let's go only visible on this workspace. It's no longer sticky, so that has no bearing on what we're doing. And add and remove workspace options. So that's the add and remove workspaces there. And if we deselect that, you can see that's gone. I'll turn that back on. Okay, so that's that one. That's desktop, which was this one here. Let's have a look now at workspaces. So there's 4. Again, we can go 5, 6. Back to 4. Now let's go to Workspace 4. So there's the Task Manager on Workspace 4. let's make this come down to 3 workspaces. And now we'll go to Workspace 3. You can see the Task Manager is going to be there on Workspace 3. So all it did, it just shuffled it back to the next workspace effectively. So now I've gone back to 4 workspaces, but it's not there on 4, it's still on 3. So we'll have to go to 3 and right click and go, move to Workspace 4. And now we go to Workspace 4, we can see there it is there. So we'll go back to Workspace 1. You can rename them here, so you just click on it. I'm just going to call it Videos. And I'm going to call this one Files. These are just the names that I use on my system. I use Web for number 3. For number 4, I just call mine Work. And now we'll be looking here, Videos, Files, Web and Work. Obviously personal choice, you can call it whatever you want. I'll leave it like that for now. So that's pretty much covered that. The next one is Window Manager Tweaks. So that was Workspaces. We'll go to Window Manager Tweaks. And now we've got a few options here. I had a bit of trouble finding out what some of these options do, such as this first one. I'll leave some links in the description, but the best I could come up with for this, it's something to do with developers or developers giving us the option, whatever it might be. I don't really know. Now the cycling refers to Alt Tab, so if you go Alt Tab on most computers, you'll get something. We'll just move that out of the way a little bit. If you go Alt Tab on most computer systems, you'll get some sort of switcher pop up in the middle of the screen. And you can see as I'm cycling there by holding down Alt and pressing Tab, it's highlighting here in the switcher, and it's also highlighting here on the screen. And again, highlighting on the screen and in the switcher. I'm going to jump straight down to this one here first, cycle through Windows on all workspaces. So we'll select that. So we'll go Alt Tab, and you'll see how that's highlighted there with the green. There's the Task Manager, and that's showing where it is there on its desktop or its workspace. So I use the word workspace, virtual workspace, virtual desktop, viewport, interchangeably. It's pretty much the same thing. There's the calculator. It's not on this desktop obviously, but that's where it is right there. And we can also, you can see I can highlight that with the mouse. So I can use the mouse and I can click on Thuna and it'll take me straight to it as well. So that is cycling through Windows on all workspaces. Now there's no indication on the panel that they're running on the other desktops. So if we go to another desktop now, let's go to desktop 2. The only thing showing on the panel is whatever's running on that desktop. Okay, there's the Task Manager. We're going to minimize that. Go back to Workspace 1, and now if we cycle through minimize Windows, there's the Task Manager showing before the calculator in the order. So if I go back to the Task Manager and then I'll minimize it again, Alt Tab, it's showing before the calculator. If we go to the calculator and then I minimize it, it was the most recently used that's minimized. Go Alt Tab, the calculator is before the Task Manager. So it sort of takes a little while to get your head around some of these things, but yeah. Include hidden iconified windows. So we know the calculator is minimized and the Task Manager is. And there they are there. And we can see they're minimized because they look a bit hazy looking compared to the others. Oops, we'll just minimize that again. Go back to the first desktop. If we deselect this and we go Alt Tab now, they're not showing at all. So if you've minimized a whole heap of applications, they're not going to show up in there unless you include hidden or iconified windows. Now we'll try that again. See, that's a little bit fuller now. Draw frame around selected windows while cycling. So we can see this green in the background showing us where Firefox is. That's where the calculator is up there on the right, and the task manager should be down here somewhere. We'll go back to the first one and we'll deselect that, and we'll go again, and now that green background isn't showing. Okay, and we'll select it again, and now you can see that showing where those applications were on their respective desktops. Raise windows while cycling. Okay, so we'll bring this over here. We'll bring the calculator back up. Now, we'll put the calculator there. We'll cover the calculator up. Raise windows while cycling. Let's go Alt Tab. We can see the green has come up there, but it's not actually telling us it's the calculator. Or we can see it is on here, but there it's not. So let's go raise windows while cycling. So the calculator's still hidden behind. And now we'll go Alt Tab. And now we can see the actual calculator itself. And same thing, if we do that again, now it's brought the Window Manager Tweaks window back up to the top. So that's raise windows while cycling. And cycling through windows in a list, select that. We'll do Alt Tab again, and that just does it a little bit differently. That's cycling. Let's go to Workspaces. We can use the mouse wheel on the desktop, so let's select that. And now out here, I'm just going to roll the mouse wheel. So we know if we press it down, we get the menu. We're on Workspace 1, so if I roll that now, Workspace 2, 3, 4, and back to 1. So you can just keep rolling the mouse wheel, and that'll just keep cycling around. Or I can roll it the other way, and it'll go back the other direction. Probably looks a little confusing on the video, but that's what it does. I'll turn it back off. This one here, I'm not sure what it does. It's to do with keyboard shortcuts. I haven't looked at that. Wrap Workspaces, depending on the actual desktop layout. So if I go Ctrl Alt right and just keep pressing, it just keeps going around and around and around. If I deselect that and I go Ctrl Alt right arrow, we get to the last desktop and we have to use the left arrow to come back now. The bottom option here, wrap workspaces when the first or the last is reached. Let's reactivate the mouse wheel. Now if I roll the mouse wheel, we go around in circles. If I deselect that, it'll get to the fourth one and then I'll need to roll it back the other way. So I'll deselect that. So the top one is basically Control Alt left and right arrow, lets you go around in circles, and this bottom one here only works with the mouse wheel when you've selected it up the top there. So that's Workspaces and cycling from the Window Manager Tweaks. Go back to all settings, and that's pretty much covered there. We'll just get rid of a couple of things here. I think we'll leave that there just so we can tell what desktop we're on. We're going to move to the panel now. As I mentioned before, the panel's only showing what's on the current desktop. It's only showing the File Manager, Firefox, and the Task Manager. We'll bring that back up. We'll go back to Workspace 1. In Cinnamon and the Mate desktop, you can see everything on there if you want to select that option. I haven't found a way of doing it on Xfce, we'll go to the panel and we'll go panel. I'm going to go to the preferences first, and I'm just going to make it a little bit larger so that it's easier to see on the video. I know it looks a little bit funny there, but it just makes it a bit easier to see. So we'll right click the panel, we go panel, add new items, and if you start typing workspace, you get the workspace switcher. So we'll click on it and we'll go add, and there it is there. So we can close that now, we're done with it. And we right click onto the workspace switcher and we go to move, and you see that red line there. I'm just going to click there, and there it is. So now I can click on these and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I can also roll the mouse wheel. So 1, 2, 3, 4 with the mouse wheel, like that. Go back to 1. And if I move this around, so there's workspace 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll see that moving down on the panel as I move it around. So it's giving you a bit of an idea of what it is and where it is. Let's go to Thuna. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. You can see that it's lost its icon. Now the default size that Thuna started on my system here, which was about there somewhere. I did this earlier without enlarging the panel and it wasn't showing the icon. So if you're not getting an icon for an application, if you make the application a little bit bigger, or as you saw me do there, by making it smaller, the icon goes and then the icon comes back. So the same would probably happen with Firefox. If we made that smaller, too small, there's the Firefox icon has disappeared as well. That's probably going to be dependent on how big your screen and your panel and so forth is. And we know here is the task manager. Just drag the task manager over to here. And if I want to move that back to workspace 1, I can right click the title bar and I can select videos there, or number 1. We can actually also drag it down here. And now if we click on workspace 1, there it is. That's fairly handy as well. You can roll the mouse wheel down here, but it gets to the end and it stops, and I haven't found a way of making that cycle so that you can just keep rolling the mouse wheel round and round. So it's roll one way and then roll the other way. Is pretty much how that works. Let's have a look at some of the options available to us here. So we right click on the switcher. Let's go to its properties first. Appearance is miniature view, so there's also buttons. So you can see we've got the buttons there now, but we're not getting a preview or anything. And that's in one row. We can have it in 2 rows if you want to make it a little more compact. We'll go back to 1. Show workspace number, so we'll select that, so now you can see 1, 2, 3 and 4 again. And here, switch workspaces using the mouse wheel. We turn that off and now the mouse wheel doesn't work. Okay, so that there switch workspaces using the mouse wheel only applies when you're on button view. So if we go back to miniature view or the default view, the mouse wheel still works by rolling it across there. I just discovered that myself. We'll turn that back on, which was the default, and now the mouse wheel should work in that mode if you want to do it that way. But we're going to go back here to miniature view. There's also workspace settings, so close, or you can right click and go to workspace settings. It's the same thing. You can rename them there as we did before, add them and delete them as we've done before. That pretty much covers all of the available options and so forth there. If you don't wish to deal with the workspaces at all, you can just go to the settings, click on Workspaces, and just take the 4 down to 1 and close, and now there's only one. You'll see if you go through the video, the mouse wheel down on the desktop brings up this little menu here. You'll see how to turn that off. You'll still have, even though there's only one workspace, you've still got the options here. They're obviously sort of hard-coded into the system, but that's greyed out because there's only one workspace there at the moment. So if you don't want to deal with any of this, you just want the one traditional workspace or desktop, that's how you can achieve that if that's what you want to do. So that is my take on virtual desktops or workspaces with Linux Mint 21 and the Xfce desktop environment.